Welcome to today's episode of the Promo Playbook by Cubic Promote. Today we're doing something a bit different. I've got two guests and we're going online and we're going to talk about online noise versus real world attention. And the two guests that I allude to is Aubrey, Vitor, as well as Lee Mai. Aubrey, Lee, welcome to the show. Hope you're having a good
Hello.
day.
Hello,
Hello.
Charles. Thank you for having us.
Not at all, not at all. So, as with everything that goes on in this specific podcast channel, we're going to talk about all things marketing, and we've got two of the best ladies in the world when it comes to all things marketing. So, maybe Aubrey, I'll start with yourself. If customers now ask you, instead of asking Google, they ask AI, how does a brand avoid becoming invisible because Google search results don't show up anymore?
Well, I think brands need to rank for AI. So, to do that, we really need to become genuinely useful sources of information. So, if your content shows expertise, it includes statistics based from your own set of data and answers real questions and gives people something specific that they're really asking for, then I think you have a much better chance of being picked by AI.
So I'm going to pick on a couple of words you said. You said your own set of data. Can you define for us what exactly you mean when you say that?
Well, own set of data. It could be any internal data. Well, for us at Cubic Promote, it could be any internal order data that we gather from the clients that we work with, especially from a specific financial year or a specific year. So this set of data is actually very helpful, and AI loves to pick this out in citations.
But that's really important, obviously. Hey, Lee,
Yeah.
onto content marketing. So if you're creating a piece of content, likely that someone else has already published it, likely Google already knows, likely any AI engine already knows about it. So knowing that all the content is available right now, how does one take a piece of content and make it original? How do they humanize it? How do they make it so that it's worthy of being cited by an AI engine?
I think one insight from Aubrey that can help with this one is to add your opinions, your perspective into your content to make it uniquely yours. Meaning that everybody has opinions, everybody has thoughts, and if you can add your expertise into your content, you humanize it. And I think there's gonna be a way where Google find it uniquely among the all these comments content that the competitors is talking about. If you make it uniquely yours, I think it can easily be coded by AI and Google.
So what are some of the tips and tricks that you have up your sleeve to make it uniquely yours?
To add your thoughts on it and also to find like you read other competitors' article, right? And you feel like, okay, if there's any missing point, missing information that you want to add on, you can add them on based on your expertise. And then I think it's gonna be really helpful piece of content for the readers to find. Yeah.
So one of the more interesting things is when AI gets it wrong, one of the questions is that many people ask, who actually gets to blame? Is it AI to blame when things are going wrong? Or is it the business that's publishing it? Or is it the source that they get it from? Because a lot of the marketing pieces of communication that gets pushed out is now done by AI. So who carries the blame when AI invents something? Yeah, Aubrey, what do you think? Is there a clear boundary from your perspective? Who should have ultimate blame when AI gets it wrong?
Yeah, well, for me, it's still the business or the person who publishes the content because AI is a tool. So I wouldn't treat the output as automatically correct or accurate. In fact, I've had experiences writing blogs where AI would make up statistics, would make up claims, from a certain link or from a certain website, and then when I check the website, the information or that certain number is not there. So the publisher really has to double check the content and make sure that it is indeed there and AI is not making it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's correct.
I read the stat outside. This is done by a stat by the Outdoor Media Association of Australia. Apparently, last financial year, the outdoor advertising grew by 5.58%, which is quite incredible. I'm seeing how digital advertising still seems to rule everything, but physical advertising is actually growing. Why do you think that's the case, Lee? And what does that have implications for going forward when it comes to digital marketing?
I mean, I Okay, so I won't say that digital marketing is not strong. It is indeed very, very potential. But on the other hand, if you want your brand to be as visible, and especially when it comes to like a brand with an actual product, I think it potential it is efficient for you to combine traditional marketing with billboard, all these posters, and then make it visible offline and also make it visible online so that you can maximize the visibility among users.
Yeah, it's so true, and I could attest to that, Lee. So last week we actually had a trade show booth in the ICC Darling Harbour, a convention center here
Hmm.
in Australia, and so we did a couple of things. We did a rather largish online campaign where we sent out our collateral and digital marketing everywhere, so that a
Hmm.
lot of the
Yeah.
potential participants, including guests as well, we invited a lot of
Yeah.
guests, would be aware of the campaign that will be
Yeah.
having a booth there. And then obviously being in the company of promotional products, we had a booth that was filled to the brim with promotional products. We kept on
Mhm.
handing out things for as if they were for free, and they were handing it out for free. And so we attracted a lot of traffic, more traffic than most of the fancy, flashy, lights shining type of booths. And on many occasions, we have people come in that actually said, "Hey, Charles, I seem to have seen your brand name somewhere." And I'm going, "Well, yeah, we got you because I we actually did a hard digital and email campaign before the physical campaign." But this person wouldn't have been able to come into our orbit if they didn't see the free products to start that
Mm.
conversation. And obviously, this person now becomes a lead for our company. And that's a
Mm.
combination of both offline, where we just create the brand
Yeah.
recall, and online, where we now get the physical interaction. And physical interaction is really important because across the road from us was an ice cream store, an ice cream stand, and surprise, surprise, or unsurprisingly, they handed out free ice cream, and they had queues constantly throughout the 3 day period where the event took place. And it was quite amazing to see them get so much attention, whereas some of the other booths, they would have spent money simply on the aesthetic of the booths. So they'll have
Mhm.
lights, they'll have sound, they would have all sorts of LEDs and everything. And it looked amazing, but those booths had good attention, but
Mhm.
nowhere near the attention that someone such as us giving out free merch, or someone such as the other booth handing out free ice cream. So I could definitely attest to that.
Hmm. Perfect.
Lee, physical experiences when it comes to marketing, do you
Mm.
recall any, what was the last event and the last brand that you recall quite vividly where they did something quite physical where you thought, wow, that was really, really cool? Whether it
Mm.
be maybe a McDonald's, they hand out Happy Meals, or you have a toy inside. And realistically, that toy is very, very, I don't think they charge anything from the toy, but they're hoping that the parents buy a hamburger. Do you recall anything that made you sit up and go, wow, that was a really great marketing experience?
To be honest, not from my experience, but it happens in one of the most iconic marketing case at the World Cup soccer football match that just happened before. I don't know if you guys have heard about the Levi Stadium on in California. So recently, recently it was really interesting, Kay, and it's is one of the most like smart, strategic, and also the iconic case in the work of history about marketing is that so they're supposed to have a football match in the Levi Stadium. However, the work of say, okay, Levi didn't pay us enough money to advertise for them, so we're gonna cover their logo, right? So I think they put a poster or something over the logo of Levi's on the Levi stadiums. But the iconic thing is you recognize the Levi's even though there with our name, you recognize its shape of the brand, right? The brand logo. You recognize its shape, right? So because it's too iconic, it's too legendary. So even though they covered it up, everybody still know it is the Levi stadium at the stadium. So Levi took that thing. They took a picture of it and then they put it on the Instagram avatar and also social media avatar, and they say, okay, maybe World Cup didn't give us the chance, but we still wins anyway. And it's more, I think it's the most liked and reacted videos of Levi's ever on it on their social media platform. So with that being said, you don't need the to be the physical touch and stuff. Of course, it is needed, but on the other hand, there are exceptional cases where, even though you don't do much, people still recognize your brand in a lot of ways, just like McDonald's or like Burger King or others iconic brands.
Are we talking about Levi's, the jeans brand?
Yeah, the clothing brand.
Huh, there you go. Thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah.
Aubrey, if you were to be given a $10,000 marketing budget in 2026 in August, what's the best way you would spend it in order to get maximum exposure? So obviously you got
Well,
offline, you got online. How would you spend
yeah.
$10,000?
Well, for me, I think I wouldn't put all of the $10,000 in one channel. Maybe I'd combine digital marketing and something physical. So digital, we can do ads like Meta ads, Reddit ads, and all the different kind of ads. And then for something physical, maybe I'd invest in merch. If I have staff, I would definitely buy some uniforms because it's really helpful for increasing brand recall. And I would also spend few of that money in exhibiting for events because I think events has a lot of physical interactions and it's really a great time and opportunity to generate leads for a brand. So I would definitely mix it with digital merch, some uniforms, and exhibiting for events.
And Lee, if you were to have a simple choice between two very entertaining pieces of content on social media, TikTok
Mhm.
or Instagram, take a pick, or of any other channel, or be given a free sticker, which one would you choose? Would you like the free sticker, assuming that it's a design that's kind of cool, it's kind of funky, you can stick it any way you want? Or would you prefer to be entertained for the best part of 1 to 2 minutes? Which one would you choose and why?
A sticker, definitely. I'm more like I prefer goods over something digital. Uh, yeah, I'm if a brand give me, I would prefer if a brand give me something that I can kept and memorized at when I look at it instead of just a post that gonna be lost in a thousand posts later on. So for me, yes, definitely. If you give me a stickers, a merchandise stickers or a promotional sticker, customized stickers, that is a little bit cute, a little bit aesthetics, then yes, definitely would be a sticker.
Aubrey, influencer or AI? If an influencer suggested a product, perhaps it's someone that you follow, perhaps it could be a fashion influencer or business influencer or anyone in between, or perhaps an AI recommendation. And let's take a step further. Three AI recommendations. So three different AI engines recommend this particular brand as being the very best, but an influencer recommended another brand as being the very best. Who do you trust and why? And you can only choose one.
I I think I'd choose the influencer actually because
Really?
some
Over three
yes,
AI
because
engines.
the influencer experiences the item.
Could be paid
So
though.
we're gonna get real input from the person, and usually influencers are um famous for something. Usually they're famous for their expertise on food, or maybe for their audience specific to merch. So I would definitely choose an influencer because they're much more credible and they have an image to maintain. So it's really hard for them to just say that this thing is good and then it's not, because I had experiences actually with AI, because I wanted to repaint my walls, and then I've had AI recommend what are the top brands for paint for my home, and then it recommended three items. But then when I went to Reddit has actually lots of organic comments, right? But then when I went to Reddit actually discouraged me to buy these brands because they're not good, saying that the paint would just fade eventually. So yeah, I think AI is not that accurate because it is pre-programmed and it is conditioned to a certain content.
It is pre-programmed. However, specifically when it comes to ChatGPT, I do know two things about it. Number one, it cites all the latest and greatest articles. So if you have the same article on the same topic that's maybe a year old, it's not going to cite that. It's only going to cite the recent one. So that's number one. Also with ChatGPT, it constantly changes its opinions. Unlike maybe a Google search where the top five search results, search answers are typically quite consistent. I believe I saw a stat somewhere that says that the result changes half the time. So if you ask ChatGPT a question one day, it'll recommend you something. And if you ask the same question the next day, half the chance it will recommend you something else. Very interesting. Hey, Lee, over to you. So last question. If you had to have a choice between someone influencing you to buy something, so option one is an influencer recommended. Number two is three different AI engines recommended you. Or option number three, this place gave you a bag of stickers about a month ago, and you still have half of the bag of stickers left. And now you wanted to now proceed to make a purchase for that product or that service. Which
Mm.
source would you choose? A bag of stickers, an influencer, or an AI engine?
It's a tough one, but I would prioritize influencer one
Oh my
as a
God, the
Gen
stickers
Z.
lost out.
Yeah, as a Gen Z, no, seriously. Because nowadays, I'm gonna be honest with you, is that influencer does have an impact on our daily choices a lot. I would say not AI though. I usually don't ask AI about where to eat or what to buy. It's usually I go on TikTok and then watch influencer videos on advising us. So yeah, it definitely is influencer. But on the other hand, if a brand gave me a stickers and a small talks or like small conversations that I feel very nice and genuine and welcome, then I definitely gonna pick them next if they're on my list definitely.
Okay, so for marketers out there, optimize for influencers, pay them if necessary, and then your plan B is
Yep.
to purchase promotional products, and your
Yeah.
last bet is to use tools and tactics to influence AI engines. Great. Well, ladies, thank you
Yep.
so much for joining us on today's episode of the Promo Playbook. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll have one new episode coming out every single Friday. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.